I don't know what they put in this espresso, but I've had 4 of them and I cannot stop shaking. You think after such a long flight I'd be tired, but no, I don't think I'm going to sleep until next year. Thanks for actually coming with me on this trip, by the way. I know that I really messed up when we went to Africa and I totally screwed up the Nirvana tickets and I kind of felt like I needed to apologize for that. And what's a better apology than a free trip to Italy? Waiter, can I have another 2 cups of espresso? Do you want anything? No? Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry. Arigato. You know, I was looking at the Colosseum earlier and it just reminded me of something, but I couldn't put my finger on it until I finally realized it looks exactly like the arena that you fight Malekith in Elden Ring. Do I have brain rot? Yes, absolutely. It's actually kind of becoming a problem. I can't help it though. Elden Ring is a masterpiece in so many ways. The story, the fights, just how cinematic everything is. And I just finished the DLC a little while ago. You know what? I paid for your plane ticket and your hotel, so I'm going to make you pay me back by listening to me ramble about the divinity that is Shadow of the Erdtree. In about 45 minutes, that espresso just hit my stomach. I'll be back. Elden Ring is my current favorite game, after Minecraft because you cannot overthrow the king.
I'm so happy, dude. I'm so happy.
I have 400 hours in Elden Ring, almost exactly.
Nice, grassy plain. I wish grass existed in real life.
I have a strength playthrough, a dex playthrough, an arcane playthrough, at least 5 different runs with seamless co-op installed so I could play with my friends. I even did an RL1 run where I beat the entire game at level 1. I think you can take a guess as to what my love life is like.
Chat, are women real?
So, when the DLC came out, I was understandably a little excited.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we're talking about an addition to the game that is almost large enough to be its own title. 10 Remembrance bosses, a huge map, probably the best castle that From Software has ever made, dozens of new weapons, and a femboy. Femboy. I want to clarify, I was a little bit more excited about the weapons than I was about the femboy. Please believe me.
Friendship with Grafted Greatsword is ended. Greatsword of Solitude is my new best friend.
So, I got the DLC. I got it a little bit late and the fight to avoid spoilers was well fought and not exactly won, but I tried my hardest to enter the DLC as a sickly newborn ready to suck on the teeth that Miyamoto Miyazaki has offered me.
Nope.
I decided to use my first run ever to run through the DLC for the first time as well. Going back and seeing my first build was an experience.
This is such a stupid build.
My favorite build path for this game is strength. Dex is fine. I have a few dex saves, but there's something so viscerally satisfying about smacking the shit out of something with an absolutely massive sword. I also drive an F450 and have a small armory in my basement. I promise I am not compensating for anything.
Man, this sword is way smaller than my regular one. But you know, that's okay. It ain't the size of the sword that matters, it's the motion of the ocean, baby.
Unfortunately, there weren't many strength weapons added in the DLC. It was more of a dex lover's wet dream.
Yes! The katana. Please don't be dex. No.
But there are a few weapons that work really well with a strength build. The Greatsword of Solitude is solid too, and I love the martial arts. They are absolutely perfect for beating the hell out of geriatric old men.
Your family's spending a lot of money to put you in assisted living here, so just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Good.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, we need to get into the DLC, and in order to do that, you need to do 2 things. You need to kill Radon, and you need to kill Moog.
I'm gonna beat you harder than you beat the allegations, buddy.
I already beat Radon a long time ago, but I hadn't killed Mogwin on the save yet, so that was the first thing I had to do.
This fight's so easy to cheese. He just starts like counting down like a little kid and then you just smack his ass. Maybe I shouldn't have said the little kid thing there.
Moog is one of my favorite fights in the base game. His attacks are smooth and are generally pretty easy to read.
Uh-oh.
In stage 2, he does like I did on my 7th birthday and starts dripping blood all over the floor. I know a lot of people get really frustrated with the blood flame, but I actually kind of like it. It forces you to pay attention to your positioning so much.
No, I'm a good little roly-poly, I swear.
Plus, he screams a lot, and I don't know, that's just really funny.
Knee heal. Knee heal. You're way too excited about this, man.
It's just a really neat boss fight overall. I beat him without any problems.
First try, get good, get good.
0 deaths, GG, easy. Now we can enter the DLC.
Here anymore because, you know, DLC. Oh yeah, because there's a woman here. Maybe.
Okay, I can't hold it in any longer. There's another reason that we came to Italy, a business venture of sorts. Did you know that you can get a castle in Italy for free? That's a real thing. Like, you can actually get a free castle in Italy. So I was thinking, I'd like to live in a castle, but there's a catch. In order to get this free castle, one of the things you have to do is make it a kind of tourist destination. But you see, this is where my genius comes in. Italy is known for many things: pasta, ancient Rome, Benito Mussolini, and most importantly, wine. Now, if we take the castle and make it into a vineyard and have like wine tasting stuff for tourists, then we get the castle and we get to make money from the wine too. The only issue is I don't know how to make wine, but I did sign us up for a winemaking class, so that issue should be gone very soon. So let's go. Espresso and wine, is that an Italian thing? I don't know. I'm feeling very como si dice Italiano right now.
Letta.
I was guided by faith.
Were you a Letta to Mikola?
Once I touched Mikola's uncomfortably large fingers, let's just be glad he's not a proctologist, I finally made it into the DLC. And it was glorious.
There's no woman in the world that will ever make me as happy as that tree does.
Elden Ring has a near ethereal beauty to it, with these absolutely gorgeous views of the Erdtree and a million other places that are just as beautiful. Shadow of the Erdtree matches that perfectly. You walk in, and what's the first thing you see? An absolutely gargantuan tree twisting through the air in a way that looks almost unnatural, creating this massive canopy.
You might be a big-ass shadow tree, super cool looking, but you know what I can do? Watch this. Wiggle, wiggle.
The only thing that could make this better is if this guy wasn't there, because he's awful and I don't like him and I wish he would fall over. He never falls over.
That doesn't seem ideal.
Ooh, there's a gelato store over there. What? Oh, really? Really, you're going to say my pronunciation's wrong. You know what? Why don't we ask one of the locals and we'll see how wrong you are. I'm fluent in Italian, so let me do the talking so you don't embarrass yourself even further. Signor, il nombre dell'helado es gelato, sì?
Il G8 comprende
Oh, this guy doesn't
gli 8
speak
paesi
Italian.
più...
You're stimulating my what?
Now, one of the complaints that some people had about the DLC was that it's too hard. I can't beat it. My fingers don't move right on the controller. I'm dying too much. Yeah, it's hard. It's supremely difficult. From Software is known for making their DLCs noticeably harder than the base game. It's like the devs heard people complaining about how easy some of the bosses are and decided to take the gloves off.
How am I live? How am I?
Elden Ring has a lot of bosses, but if you were to just rush them, it would take away a lot of the fun that you can get from the game. In order to get the full experience, you have to explore. It's not even a recommendation, it's damn near a requirement. If you're just rushing the bosses, you're probably missing like 90% of what's out there.
Oh, I hate you so much. Why am I here? I could have just gone to the boss. I don't have to be here.
That being said, I'm not going to talk about that too much. I want to, but if I went and talked about every single thing that I loved about this game, this video would be like 2 hours long. What I will talk about are the bosses, because I beat all of them. All of the Remembrance bosses, plus the other one.
Remembrance? Why don't you remember this cat?
So let's skip through some of the first part of the game and talk about the first boss that I fought, the Divine Beast Dancing. Like I said, Elden Ring is a game that requires exploration. So I saw a big ass arch built into the side of the mountain and immediately thought, that's definitely the way I need to go. So that's not the way I'm gonna go.
Somebody's moaning. I'll take care of it. I'll deal with you in just a minute.
And going the other way led me to dragons.
Man, I do not enjoy getting stepped on. Well,
I need to make something abundantly clear. I love dragons. That shit was like my special interest as a kid. A lot of players don't really like the dragon fights, and I can understand why. They fly around a lot, making it hard to hit them. Their weak spot is right on their head, which is kind of hard to hit consistently, and most of the fight you're underneath them, which can make the camera kind of wonky and make it difficult to see what they're doing. And to that I say, I don't care. Fighting dragons makes me feel like a medieval knight in a fantasy story. It is everything I have ever wanted in life. I love it so much. There is not a single dragon left in my world. I was the harbinger of their destruction. I am what dragons use as a scary bedtime story they tell their children to make them behave. And I am damn good at killing them.
I can kill as many dragons as I want, but I'll never be him, will I?
Based on the damage I was doing here, It wasn't horrible, but it was a pretty good indication that I probably shouldn't be here. But there was a dragon, alive, in front of me, and I took personal offense to that.
Yeah. You know, next time you finish the milk, don't put the carton back in the fridge and we won't have to do this again.
And then further down the path, there were two dragons. Two dragons standing less than 5 feet apart from each other. Do you know how unchristian-like that is? How dare you? After killing the dragons, this guy Egon recognizes me as a dragon knight or something.
A fellow drake warrior.
And asks me to summon him for the boss fight.
Grant me this one wish. Take this finger, my finger.
Oh no, I've fallen for that joke a few too many times. I know what happens.
Normally, I don't really use summons. I think that if you want to use them, that's perfectly fine. I mean, who am I to try and make you feel bad for playing the game the way that you want to play it? It's a system that was installed by the developers. It's there for a reason. It's just not really my playstyle. That's definitely the only reason why I don't use summons.
I don't know how to use spirits. I've tried. I've gone through every single run that I've ever done without using a single spirit. Not because I think it makes me better than other people or because it makes it harder. Because I genuinely don't know how to use them. I don't know how to activate the spirits.
That being said, this was from a quest line that I'd already started, so I figured I'd at least summon him once. I'm so glad I did. Those voice lines are amazing.
With a hail of harpoons!
Bale is easily in the top 2 bosses from the DLC for me, hands down. Depending on the day, he is absolutely my favorite. Everything about this boss is amazing. Just walking to the boss sets an amazing tone. You're scaling this massive mountain with lightning striking everything around you. Piles of dead dragons so vast you can't even see the ground. It's so cinematic.
I feel a little unsafe.
And then you get to the boss fight, and it is glorious.
Oh, is he missing a leg? Ah. Are you mad that I pointed out you're missing a leg? What are you gonna do about it, pogo stick?
Bale's attacks are powerful and aggressive. He is every bit the monstrous dragon that his frame indicates. And then you get to the phase transition.
He's kind of exploding?
I could talk about this one boss for probably 20 or 30 minutes, but to keep it short, it is beautiful in a raw, primal kind of way.
Hey, no, bad, put me down right now.
10 out of 10 boss fight, I only died like 6 times.
You shall haunt me no longer.
That sounds really traumatic. You should probably talk to a therapist or something. That's heavy.
It's crazy to think that people used to fight and die down there. And people would like pay to watch that too. Can you imagine paying money to watch 2 guys, just these huge, muscular dudes slamming into each other, oiled up, sweaty? Oh. Now, when you first enter the DLC, you'll notice your damage is not very high, and the enemy's damage is very high.
This is not my. This is insane.
Luckily, there's a way to mitigate this. Miyazaki added a scaling system that revolves around Skadu fragments.
Skadu!
Technically, it's Old English and should be pronounced Shadu fragments, but it's a lot more fun to just scream Skadu every time that you grab one.
Erdtree challenge. Skadu. Skadu!
Once you have enough Skadu fragments, you can increase your blessing level, which turns enemy nukes into noodles. Not even al dente, like noticeably overcooked noodles. I said that and I felt a lot of hostility building around me. The Italians are looking very angry.
I know I need to be playing this, but this is a really compelling video on how to make focaccia.
You find a lot of these Skadu fragments at Mikkola's crosses, which according to the NPCs is where Mikkola's footsteps graced the land.
Those?
They are Mikola the Kind's footprints.
How tall is this guy? What?
I don't know why Miyazaki's so focused around feet. There's so many feet in this game, it's bordering on fetish territory.
Elden Ring.
Long story short, the more Skadu you have, the easier the game's gonna be, and you can get your blessing up to level 20, which halves all damage taken and doubles all damage given.
It would probably be a lot easier with more Skadu.
Did the Romans just not wear clothes? Why did we get away from that? I don't want to wear clothes. That sounds great.
You can't be naked outside. We have laws against this, man. You need help.
Alright, you know how I mentioned how if I talked about everything I wanted to in depth, this video would be like 2 hours long? Well, I don't want that to happen, so we're going to blitz through a couple of the bosses and talk about just a handful in more detail. All of the bosses were awesome, amazing, gorgeous, darling, gorgeous, but some clearly stand out above the rest. All of them really do deserve more time in the spotlight, but to quote my ex when I tried to give her a hug, I don't have time.
Stop hugging me, I'm gonna get emotionally attached.
You and your fucking horse. Alright, I'm gonna swap. By far the easiest boss in the DLC. Attacks are easy to read, he's not too hard to dodge, and he doesn't have very much health at all either.
On your mom, I didn't dodge that.
Getting to him, on the other hand, is a huge pain in the ass. You have to drop down a huge ledge to get to him, which I'm not really a big fan of because there's no indication that that specific drop won't kill you, as opposed to every other drop, which starts off like John Mayer's popular song Free Fallin' and quickly ends like Justin Bieber's much less popular Hit the Ground.
I live to serve, to satisfy. Okay.
The only thing that makes him difficult and a little frustrating is that he's really hard to hit.
Okay, well that didn't hit him.
Once he's done with an attack, most of the time he's too far away for you to really punish. I got tired of him running away, so I pulled out the Sacred Relic Sword, you know, the genocide sword, and used the Ash of War to take him down.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
All in all, not too bad, not too good, a little boring compared to the other bosses, solid 7 out of 10, 6 deaths.
And when you're using a late game weapon that's holy damage against something that takes a lot of holy damage, all of a sudden the boss isn't that hard.
I don't know much, but I'm pretty sure this isn't Rome, so we took a very, very wrong turn somewhere. That being said, I am glad that I got to see this. I'm especially glad that I'm not here on January 23rd, 2029. It would be very unfortunate to be standing anywhere near the Leaning Tower of Pisa on January 23rd, 2029.
Where did you come from?
Hippo was a cool boss. A little basic, but really fun. Kind of obnoxiously tanky, though. Also, Miyazaki, not every boss needs 2 stages. Every single boss in the DLC has 2 stages. This is a hippo. Actually, this isn't a... Do you know what a hippo is? This is not a hippo. Why are you saying this is a hippo? Hippos don't have horns.
Yeah, you see, the hippo knows where it belongs on the food chain, and its place is underneath me.
8 deaths, just because I was being stupid.
Man, that was the easiest boss so far. Kind of too easy.
This was a really cool boss. Yeah, having 3 versions that you have to kill is neat. I like it. Picasso, super weak to fire. Good. Slather that bad boy in some oil is a good time. Explosion nuke holy blast bullshit is bullshit, but we'll talk about that later.
Silly sunflower, the sun's up in the sky, not on the ground.
Cool boss, kind of a little bit too easy compared to everything else. 7.5 out of 10. I don't remember how many times I died, but it was too many. I was being dumb. You know, being at the Vatican is reminding me of the religious mission that I took to Africa. That was a fun time. I mean, getting stuck in Africa was not a fun time, but the rest of it was pretty cool.
Skaduview. Oh, that's... Uh-oh.
Gaius was awesome. Really, really fun fight, but his attacks are kind of a little simple.
You gotta hit me. You gotta hit me. Come on, you can do better than that.
Still, any boss that lets me make a joke about pigs flying is a good boss in my book.
Evil. Son of a... Because of that, yeah. Oh, POV hog.
9 out of 10 deaths. I don't know, like 10 or 12 or something.
Easy. Goodbye, piggy.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Michael Zaki. Why? Why? This is disgusting. Ew. Ew. Get it off of my screen. Would be a 7.5 out of 10. Is actually a 4.5 out of 10 for making me retch, for making me legitimately almost throw up in my mouth. What is wrong with you?
I don't even want it. I want nothing to do with you.
What GPS do I have on my phone? Hold on.
Am I fighting a boss or Storm Pegasus? What is this?
Midra is amazing. He's easily one of my favorite bosses in the DLC, like legitimately top 3.
Lore-wise, he's pretty cool too. You start off the fight by beating up an old man, and you end it by fighting a knockoff version of a world-ending Sauron. But at least I don't have to beat up the old man every single time. Oh my goodness, I have to beat up the old man every single time.
For some reason, he has the highest health of any boss in the entire game, even more than like the fire giant. He's a decrepit old man. He does not need to be that tanky.
Wow, you have a lot more health than I was expecting.
Attacks are fun to learn. Could never really figure out how to dodge the phase transition though, so I just got hit by that every single time.
Okay, how the hell do you dodge that?
Also, the walk itself to Midra is super neat.
That's a lot of birds. Those are not birds. Oh. Oh boy.
The game becomes this tactical stealth mission halfway through because of these guys. You get a bunch of messages saying, oh, don't hit them, oh, they're so scary, just hide. Thing is, I ain't no scrub. I don't listen to signs. You should listen to the signs.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
9 out of 10, the phase transition to stage 2 is so cool it actually could probably bump this up to a 10 out of 10. I died a lot. I didn't count, but it was a lot.
There we go. That was a good boss fight. I like that a lot.
Okay, GPS says that we're at the Pantheon. Gonna be honest, I thought that was just a League of Legends character. Anyway, we're pretty close to where we need to be. I think I'm gonna turn the GPS off because my phone's almost dead and the class is like just down the street.
Get over here, you overglorified hypodermic needle.
It's a cool boss. Not really a lot to say. I think she's one of the easier bosses, but she's still really, really fun. Michael Zaki made 2 rot-based bosses and absolutely cooked on both of them. 9 out of 10, 1 death.
Wood.
That tarnished.
Snake's got a sexy voice.
Mesmer realistically should be talked about much longer than I'm probably going to. He is a phenomenal boss fight, especially in stage 2 when he turns into a giant snake.
There's a lot going on here, and I'm not sure I like any of it.
Very cool visuals, attacks are fun to dodge, just a really cool fight up. Phase 2 transition's a little weird, and he's kind of obsessed with his mom.
What? Hold on, dude. Ooh. There we go. Oh, don't worry, you'll see her soon.
9 out of 10. That's why do you want to know? Why are you so focused on the number of times I died? I killed him, okay? Who cares how many times it took? I just... Ugh.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy, but man, that was a good fight.
Oh man, it's almost time for lunch. You know, I have always wanted to try an authentic chicken parmesan. What do you mean that's not Italian? That's like the classic Italian dish. You can get that like at any Italian restaurant in the US. There's no way that's not Italian. It's not Italian. Okay, now that we're done with our lightning round, we can move on to talk about the actual first boss that most people fight, the divine beast dancing the camera. The first boss is the camera.
I love being able to see.
People have complained about the camera in Elden Ring on multiple occasions, and I really think this fight perfectly exemplifies all of those issues.
Man, it would be nice to know what is going on.
The dancing lion has a few attacks where it rears up into the air and slams back down. The problem is when it does this, if you're too close, you can't see shit. You can't see a damn thing.
Apparently, the camera is a classically trained ballerina because it's doing pirouettes.
And if you're on the side of the room, you could be suffering from wood alcohol poisoning and have the same chance of dodging one of his attacks.
Why did the camera...
You might guess. This was one of my least favorite bosses in the DLC. It's still a good boss for the most part. There are just a couple of things that I don't like about it all that much.
You have no idea how much I'm going to enjoy shoving this sword down your throat.
The camera, of course, obviously is a big issue for me, but some of the attacks are kind of hard to recognize.
Any reason in particular the camera's trained on your ass? OnlyFans, OnlyFans.
The design for the lion is awesome, but because it doesn't have, hands and stuff, it's attacking you with its body. I mean, I guess technically it does have hands, but shut up.
So it's not a lion, it's just a furry.
And there's only so much that you can do to indicate an attack is coming when the only action the lion can do is kind of wriggle around a little bit. It's not that bad, it can be a little frustrating, but you can absolutely learn the attacks after a little while. And you can try to stay in the center of the arena to stop any particularly bad camera issues. The lightning phase, on the other hand, is genuinely kind of unpleasant.
Oh, I rolled into the lightning bolts.
In the lightning portion of stage 2, the lion doesn't really change its attacks very much, but About half a second after it's done attacking, a lightning barrage will hit around it. This means that you basically don't have any openings to punish attacks, because when you used to punish, you instead have to dodge or face a forced cosplay of that one dude from that one Home Alone movie.
You know, if you're Zeus, I'm gonna have to tell you right now, I'm not fertile this week, so you're gonna have to come back later.
There are like 2 moves he does that are punishable, otherwise you just kind of have to wait it out.
Oh, I get to fight you now? I actually get to hit you back now? Thank you.
All in all, it was okay. I'm still going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 because it's a pretty cool fight, and again, the character's design is just phenomenal. Deaths, 12.
Don't care, didn't ask, suck it.
Probably should have kept the GPS on. On the bright side, this does seem like the kind of place you could make a really cool song about. After the lion, we get to Rolana. Now, I personally think that the devs were annoyed with everyone else saying Renala was an easy boss, so they decided to give her a little revamp. On one hand, I kind of want to thank you because she's awesome.
That's so pretty.
On the other hand, I kind of want to throw you into the ocean because this boss is insane.
If you would stop swinging for two seconds!
Rolana is easily one of the hardest bosses in the DLC. I would even say she gives the final boss a run for his money. She's quite difficult.
You know, I gave that one to you for free. I gave that one to you because I felt that.
She has super long, varied combos that will change halfway through depending on your positioning and distance from her. This makes her combos harder to learn than actually getting Italian citizenship. That was just a random example, don't read into that.
Why do we have to fight all the time? Why can't we just sit down, have a little cup of tea or something, have a good time?
That being said, she is breathtaking. The fight is amazing. When combos are hard to learn, dodging them just feels that much sweeter. And when you get to stage 2, it's just this glorious cacophony of swords, fire, and magic. Every part of this fight feels like you're dancing.
I didn't dodge a single one of those.
I never said I was a good dancer. Never mind the fact that she is a strikingly dangerous woman wearing a very flattering armor set. I'm sure that did absolutely nothing to color my impression of this fight.
What's that one thing that one cowboy says? I love the kind of woman that will actually just kill me.
I particularly like the double moon attack. It's just really, really pretty.
Miyazaki, whatever drugs you're on, I want them because this is gorgeous.
Amazing boss fight, 9.8 out of 10. I don't remember how many times I died, but it was like almost 30. It was a lot. Why don't I just give you the address? Now, there's only one boss I haven't talked about yet, but we need to take a little break from talking about the bosses, because in between Rolana and Mesmer, disaster struck. My Xbox controller, the B button, is not working. The B button is what you need to use to dodge. It's a pretty important mechanic in the game, and if my button keeps on getting stuck, this is not going to work. So I've been having issues with my controller for a while now.
My B button started getting stuck, and I started panicking.
The thing is, I've played so much Elden Ring that the B button has stopped depressing properly. I would press the button and then it would not come back up. I'm sure you can figure out why that might be an issue. For the most part, I was just kind of dealing with this as it came and kind of hoping for the best. Unfortunately, life, finds a way.
Okay, so my controller finally killed me.
A lot of people will blame their controller for dying instead of admitting that they have a skill issue, but in that clip, there's legitimately no way that I can blame myself for dying. So I needed to fix my controller.
Insert a flathead screwdriver into the groove and then gently slide the screw around the groove, prying up carefully as you work your...
I'm not going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to use this knife.
So I found a tutorial and started trying to open my controller.
Why is this video 10 minutes long? Well, you don't need a 10-minute long video on how to open an Xbox controller.
Unfortunately, people are insane.
You're using a hammer and a chisel to open your Xbox controller. Are you serious? Do not use a hammer and a chisel to open your controller, I say, sticking a knife into my controller.
After finicking with it for 20 minutes or so and realizing that I missed 2 screws, I got it open and...
Oh yeah, no, it's a hardware thing. Shit.
I was really hoping it was just sticky from like Dorito dust or something, but no. The membrane used to give tension to the buttons was weak from being pressed too much. So the controller was done for. And I tried to look for replacement parts. There aren't any. I don't know why this specific controller doesn't have replacement parts. It would cost me like $2 to fix it, but I can't find the damn thing.
You know what movie I really like that I don't see very often anymore? Pirates of the Caribbean.
On the bright side, I don't just have to stop playing. I do have a few Nintendo Switch Pro controllers that I can use, so I swapped to one of those. It's weird and it's definitely a temporary solution, but it's better than nothing.
Maybe you should learn how to keyboard and mouse. It's a lot more difficult, so you'll be even better. If you're
I'm
just
not a
that good.
freak.
And on the bright side now, I can actually blame my controller when I die because I'm not used to it yet.
I swear I'm dodging these things and it's not registering that I'm dodging them.
So I said there's a little wading pool here. My feet were really starting to hurt. Do you remember those feet washing stations public pools used to have? What was up with that?
I feel like if I stand here long enough, I'm gonna get trench foot.
I would say the hardest, most frustrating part of the DLC was actually trying to get to the final boss.
Please be a site of grace. Yes! Amazing. Kill me, I don't care.
The path is filled with some of the most obnoxious enemies I have ever seen, and there are just enough of them to make it really, really unpleasant. For example, this is a... Actually, I don't know. I'm going to call it a Beast Warrior. They're like Crucible Knights. They've got really high poise, they've got really high damage, and a pretty good chunk of health. They're just a step below a mini-boss. They're quite difficult to deal with, and for whatever reason, they respawn. They drop somber smithing stones. They should not respawn. In the base game, any enemy that drops a somber smithing stone does not respawn. Why?
I really don't think there needed to be 3 of you in a row. I mean, I'm not a game designer, but...
And there are, I think, 4 of them on the way to Radon. And there are so many of these obnoxious birds. Why are the birds one of the most difficult enemies to deal with? Do you see this?
Y'all have some crazy long combos. What is this?
Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return.
I was scared as hell going into this boss fight.
And apparently, the final boss is absolutely terrifying. Just like horribly difficult. I'm very excited.
I tried exceedingly hard to stay away from spoilers, but even I knew just how difficult this boss fight was. Harder than Millennia, they said. So, against such a staggeringly difficult enemy, I decided to get something special. Something that I was very familiar with, the strongest weapon in the game, something that hard carried me through my level 1 run, something that helped me kill Millennia at level 1. The Starfists. Yeah, that didn't work. Like, at all. It was actually pretty bad.
Why do these feel worse now than they did at level 1?
The issue with the Starfist is that they have a very small reach. Radon's a big dude. He's a big guy, and sometimes when you swing the fist, they go right between his legs. Seriously, I swear like 2 inches up would be a critical.
Oh, that is deeply unsatisfying.
This, of course, sucks, because you miss a chance to do damage to him after he misses an attack. Eventually, I just kind of had to start swapping to different weapons before choosing to go with the Great Katana.
I'm sorry. Friendship with Starfist has ended. Great Katana is my new best friend.
Stage 2 is gorgeous, but a lot harder than Stage 1.
Okay, got to the next phase. Nice. That was kind of early.
Very little actually changes. His attacks are mostly the same, but he gets these really annoying aftershock attacks that follow his swords. That in and of itself isn't too bad. You just kind of dodge to the side instead of dodging forward. What's really hard are his after images.
What?
I saw that attack for the first time and thought it was a glitch. That's crazy. That's a diabolical attack, and he's got like 3 of them that do that.
Oh, I survived. Oh, wow.
Also, his grab attack is weird, but it's really cool.
I cannot get the timing for that. Get your mouth off of my earlobe, you molesting bitch.
Normally, a grab takes at least half of your health, probably even more than that. Radon's first grab doesn't actually do anything to you. If you get grabbed twice, though,
Ew. So it is a two-part grab, huh? Heart stolen? By a femboy?
I beat him after probably 50 or so tries. He was tough. He was quite difficult, but his attacks are very nicely telegraphed and the fight is really fun. 10 out of 10, hands down top 2 boss fight in the DLC, up there with Bale. Easy. We're okay. We're very okay. Oh my goodness.
I'll make the world a gentler place.
Are we the bad guys? I would be remiss to end this video without talking about the NPC fights because there are a ton of them. I fought at least 6 NPCs that I can think of off the top of my head. 7. No, 8. 9. 9 NPCs. This is top tier gameplay right here. Just 2 fat guys missing each other with their swords. I wasn't like going out looking for them either. They're just there. That's a lot of NPCs to fight, and I don't really think that the NPCs are great bosses. It's just not really that enjoyable. You either steamroll them or you get your ass handed to you, and there's no in between.
I won't heal until he does. Oh, okay. Probably should have healed.
Not to mention, a lot of the NPCs are weird. Like this dude, I think his name is Thalia. This guy's a freak. You talk to him and he's all like, oh, I'm trying to find this girl. She's a saint, blah, blah, blah. But in like a really weird, like stalkery way.
Her visage, her sun,
Settle down.
velvety sleep.
Settle down.
And if you decide to aid and abet this felony, you can tell him where she is and he'll go to see her.
Centrina, what velvety ambrosia is this?
I see I walked into something that I wasn't supposed to see. Sorry, I'll give you some privacy.
Now you can actually talk to her. You have to drink her nectar, which we're not even going to get into that. Then it kills you, and then you do that 4 more times, and then you can hear her talk to you. Miyazaki, what the
It took me dying 4 times for you to say that? You couldn't have said that the first time?
The thing is, if you tell Thalia that you can talk to her, he gets super mad at you. Like, tries to kill you mad at you.
Damn, dude.
Never forgive you.
You know, I'm gonna take your bitch.
And what's crazy is he's not even the weirdest NPC. No, that honor goes to Emir, who we're going to talk about in just a moment while we're talking about the questline that he's a part of.
Amogus.
In these videos, I like to point out a few things that I don't like about the game that I'm playing. That's very hard to do with Elden Ring. I said very hard, not impossible. One of the only things that I'm not a fan of is how obnoxiously unclear some of the questlines are. There are questlines so convoluted that if you don't look them up, you will never finish them.
With this gesture, now just come back to the grace and do that.
Oh, it's just under a tree.
I think the DLC has quite possibly the most egregious example of this with the questline to get to Metter. How do you get to Metter, I hear you ask? Well, you sweet, sweet little Pinto, let me walk you through this. The first thing you're gonna do is see this on the map. And you're gonna be like, oh, that's weird, that's a lot of fingers. And then you're gonna go there, and then you're gonna get head from a lamprey.
What the hell? You can teleport? Damn, you were really getting in. Are you kidding me? He's really getting into that.
Then you're gonna see this big flute, and you're gonna stand there and do nothing because you haven't started the quest yet.
I can't do anything, but it looks like I should be able to do something, right?
What you actually need to do is go to this cool church and talk to this absolute freak. But you don't know he's a freak yet. He's just giving off really weird vibes. After he gives you the quest item, you go back to the finger area and blow into the bell. Side note, Mike Wazowski, this is not a bell. You don't blow into bells. That's not how bells work. It's like a flute or something, a woodwind, a stone wind, I don't know, not a bell.
Okay, now we can actually do... Oh, you know, my favorite pastime, just locking lips with bells.
Anyway, you go back to the church, talk to the weirdo again, and he gives you another hint that you need to go to the other finger area on the map. Now this is a lot harder.
That's over here. We just don't know how to actually get there.
If you look at the map, you might see a little issue with getting to this area. Do you want to know the way to get there? Good, because I'm about to tell you. Listen close, my little garbanzo bean. First, you have to go to this specific village in a completely different part of the map.
Bonnie Village.
Then you have to go north. There's nothing to the north. There's nothing on the map that would indicate that you should go north. In fact, everything indicates that you should go east, not north. But no, to do this quest, you need to go north. There, you will find an emote underneath a tree. You take that emote and bring it to a completely different part of the map and stand in front of this specific statue.
This is already probably the most convoluted questline I have ever done.
This statue is not unique in any way. There are dozens of them at least across the entire map, but you need to stand in front of this one specifically. Then, you use the emote you got again from halfway across the map in a town you visited 4 bosses ago.
Mother, I require uppies.
Once you've done that, a secret passageway will open. Let's go through that again super quick. Go to a random village, go in a direction you would never naturally go to a completely different part of the map, stand in front of this specific non-unique statue, and use that specific emote you got from the village. How the hell would you ever know to do that? Who figures these things out? Who figures that out?
You have no idea how difficult it is to get to you. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
And it's not over yet. You go to the finger place, get for free what many would have to pay for.
Great. Was the sound necessary, Miyazaki?
Blow in the thing that is not a bell and go back to the church. Then, Ymir is just sitting there petting a hand. Why? Why?
There is something deeply, deeply upsetting about you.
So you look at the hint he gives you and go outside the church because that's what the picture shows. I don't know, maybe the ground changed or something and that's where the boss is.
There's nothing here. It shows it's out here. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy.
What you do then is you look it up online. Again, because you definitely looked up the last part already. If you tell me that you did the last part without looking it up, you're lying to me.
Oh.
What you're gonna find out is you need to move his chair. The problem is his fat ass is still keeping it warm and he's still petting the hand like a freak, so you can't move his chair. So you do 20 more minutes of research trying to figure out what to do, and eventually you learn that you need to exhaust his dialogue. So you do that, and then he's finally gone. You get to talk to this woman with a very cool voice.
And for that, I express my gratitude.
Oh, I like your voice.
Climb down the ladder, don't drop down the ladder. Unlike the messages, that does not end well.
Really? Ladderhead would try jumping off? If you say so.
Then you fight another NPC, blow into the not a bell, and your reward for all of this? This abomination. I don't even know what to say about this. All of that work to looks like something that belongs in a cave in the forest. It's gross. It's awful. I hate it. Get it off of my screen. Goodbye.
You ain't gonna squash me like a bug.
That felt really good to get off of my chest. The only other thing that I really take issue with are attacks with long windups that aren't telegraphed very well. Most of the time, long windups indicate a very strong attack. This also gives you plenty of time to react to said attack.
You know, that attack has such a long windup and I have never once dodged it.
There are a few bosses in the DLC that do this. The problem is the anticipation is so long and so still that you actually don't know when the attack is going to go off. You know the attack is coming, you just don't know exactly when. The best example of this is the Erdtree avatar nuke explosion thing. You can see it's gonna happen, but if you're too close, you cannot react in time because while it's glowing, there's no indication of exactly when the explosion is going off. Which means either you get hit or you're too far away to punish after the attack is over.
Do you just explode on people whenever you feel like? Because I'm pretty sure that's a felony.
Not a huge issue, could actually be more of a skill issue, but I didn't like it very much. Now, stop talking. The class is about to start. We have to pay really close attention so that we can do this when we get the castle.
Ma Berlusconi sostiene che il crollo del PIL, il prodotto
I'm beginning to suspect that I don't speak Italian. I can't properly put into words just how much fun I had playing this. Elden Ring is a game that I have really enjoyed for a while now, as you can see by my playtime, and being able to experience the DLC and go through that and kind of like experience it for the first time was awesome. It was so cool. There are so many things that I didn't have time to talk about. I didn't even talk about the naked pop things. I hate those so much. They're so disgusting. What is that?
I hate everything about you. I hate the way you look. I hate what you represent. I hate it all.
I'm probably gonna run through it at level 1 at some point, which I'm looking forward to, but I'm also kind of not looking forward to. I'm probably not gonna post anything about that because who cares? Anyway, thank you for watching. You should like and subscribe and stuff. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.